Okay, hi. The last video I had to cut you off real quick because I was running out of space on my phone and I just emptied my phone. 1 second. Okay, that feels better. I really don't like my hair right now. I don't like that I can see the two tones so drastically. It doesn't look like it's hip or in style. It looks like it's growing out and I don't like that. Plus I've got some discoloration yellow here compared to this yellow and I don't think she did the best job on it. Not that it's her fault. I kind of just... I'm not loving the hair anymore. So that's that, because I'm looking at myself and that's why I'm talking about it. But today is July 18th. I don't know why I'm nervous. I just had some things that I wanted to read because I figure I am I don't know what I figure. I don't know why I wanted to read this. Maybe it was a specific noodle that wanted me to read this, and me being the host, I'll read it. Okay, maybe she'll come out in her passion with this. I don't really remember what she wrote, and I really don't know if I agree with her. I know that there's feelings inside me that are there, and this post came out, and now I'm feeling disconnected from this post. So I posted this on my Facebook page, and before I posted it, I made sure I read it after she wrote it, and I kind of got a little nervous that she was posting so much personal feelings and opinions and emotions and stuff, so I didn't let everybody see it. And it's been maybe 18 hours since I posted it, and no one has clicked like or love or sad face or anything, right? It's on Facebook, right? And I didn't expect them to necessarily, because it doesn't really have anything to do with them. It's just a couple of people I felt comfortable enough to be honest to. What I'm saying is, okay, not everybody understands the relationship I have with my siblings, but I understand the relationship I have with my siblings. And the relationship I have with my siblings is that they don't think very well of me. They're not very highly, they don't think very highly of me, and I left them down as their big sister. I'm the oldest of 9 siblings, so that means there's 10 of us split by 2 different moms. My dad had a set with my stepmom, and my mom had kids with 3 different guys, my dad and 2 other guys. So what I'm saying is, it was my sister's birthday yesterday, and because of the phone call I got from my brother in Utah, he's 28 years old, and he's really butthurt about something, and he didn't really explain it very well. But if I was to pick up on his hints and his passive-aggressive comments, I think he's just showing his disappointment and his abandonment feelings that show up for him from time to time. And I don't blame him. He's got his things to work through and try to come out on the other side of. But I'm going to read to you what she wrote because it's pretty deep and at the same time pretty rambly. And I want to remember this in the future because it's like working out something. It's like because I don't remember exactly. I want to remember it if I watch this, because things start to come piece together when I rewatch things later, and this might help me piece things together because it's part of my past. It's part of my past and the feelings that come up for me and stuff like that. So did I mention that? Yeah, July 18th. Hold on. Okay. It starts off with, "Happy birthday to my baby sister, Nicole. Wow, I didn't realize this was going to be so long. And I apologize if anyone gets the impression that I'm trying to weaponize my feelings. In my long-ass post below, it is not my intention to offend with my truth. But in hiding my truth all the time, I also find that I might offend those who want to hear my honesty instead of my fake self. So I'm just going to lay it all out here and see what happens. My feelings may or may not be correct, but they are mine, and I don't have to justify them to match anyone else's. It's our behavior that matters after we express our feelings. So if our behavior determines how we are judged, then our feelings can just be that, feelings. We are all entitled to our feelings. With that being said, let the long-winded rant begin." Of course, I wrote that after I wrote everything, just to kind of like preamble my ramble. All right, so it says, "My baby sister was born when I was 16 years old. Interesting thing is, I had 2 born that year. Both of my moms had baby girls, born 4 months apart from each other. Both middle name Rose, and both middle name Rose, if you can believe it. The only tragic thing is our father died when Nicole was just a year old. I stayed to help my stepmom with my siblings. We grieved together, bonded a tiny bit, and yet my grief was so great, I thought I needed to get as far away from my dad's house as soon as possible. I made a decision to stay only for a short time, then moved to Arizona a few months later to be with my Arizona siblings and be closer to my Arizona boyfriend. This means I only saw Nicole and my other Utah siblings once in a blue moon. I did my best to keep in touch with everyone through phone, internet, but they all seemed so mad at me for leaving them. Every time I would call, our conversations would fall flat, and I felt like I was rubbing salt in their wounds. What they wanted for me was to come back and watch them grow up, and a large part of me wanted that too. But moving back was not something I was able to do. I had commitments in Arizona, and the struggle to be near my dad's family without my dad was almost too much to bear. Each time I visited, my siblings were slightly different. Blossoming as they got taller, older, they changed so quickly, I knew each time I saw them that I had missed out on so much. It was painful to miss out on their lives. I was torn on how to make it all better. I would send letters and gifts and attempted with more phone calls, but as my siblings grew older, I think that my absence was louder than my efforts. My attempts to somehow show up for them weren't a replacement for the memories I was missing out on. And the sad thing is, I understand that more than they will ever know. You see, as a person who struggles with my own abandonment issues, I too understand the happy greetings and short visits and shallow conversation attempts don't make up for the heart-to-heart talks that are never shared. I honestly don't know my siblings hardly at all in Utah. But if I'm being honest, I hardly know any of my siblings, even the ones in Arizona. It is assumed that because I live in the same state as 6 of them, that I must know them pretty well, but I don't. You see, my dad died when I was 17. All my siblings were much younger than me. At 18, I was asked to move out of the house to make room for the other siblings who were all crammed in 2 tiny bedrooms. So I moved in with my high school sweetheart while I worked full-time and started college. And sure, I guess some of my days off were spent with my Arizona siblings, many holidays and weekends, but not always. I was an adult. They were kids. Many of my kid siblings wanted nothing to do with me, and I knew it. I let them be. You can't force someone to like you. Every year, I take a trip to Utah to remind my siblings that they were loved. Spending hundreds of dollars a year on that trip was worth it, just so they didn't feel like they were forgotten about. I also visited aunts and uncles, cousins, and grandparents too. I let everyone know that Crystal was still around. I let everyone know that I practice unconditional love. You don't have to be a certain religion, a certain size or shape, color, or profession to be loved by Crystal. I gave love the way I hoped to receive love, unconditionally. When I was 24, I moved 2 hours away from my Arizona family to marry Jim. After having 2 kids, my whole life changed. We struggled financially to keep our household afloat. Trips to Utah or even to Tucson became too expensive to attempt. Soon, I was lonely compared to family weekends in Tucson, and the ever-nagging feeling that I wasn't doing the big sister thing right ate at my soul. But we always have phones and internet, right? Wrong. Most of my siblings didn't value the use of modern technology to stay in touch like I valued it. Even though they were younger and cooler than me, they would rather see me in person than communicate over the phone or through apps like Facebook, Marco Polo, or whatever. I could sense the resentment when I called them. They felt like I left them. Or maybe it was all my imagination. I don't know anymore. Maybe my fears were getting the best of me and clouding the truth of it all. I don't know. I guess you could see my insecurities with this whole thing. Nevertheless, it all became too much. In my quest to be the best version of myself, for both my family and my husband, I lost my footing and went into a deep depression. I have attempted to climb out ever since. I stopped my frantic efforts to get my siblings and other people to like me. I stopped calling, I stopped mailing letters, I stopped cheesy birthday greetings, I stopped it all. I stopped twisting into a pretzel for everyone. The approval-seeking behaviors I was doing had become my identity. I didn't know who I was without the approval of others. Regardless, I still left the door open for them to call me. Not just Utah siblings, cousins, aunts, and uncles, everyone in Arizona, Idaho, Timbuktu, wherever. I let people know that I care the best I can, and if they stay silent in return, that's okay. But again, unless I have the money and endless amounts of vacation days so that I can have face-to-face visits, many won't want to get to know me. No one picks up the phone to call me. No one returns my call when I call them. I did everything I could to show every one of my siblings that I love them. And I miss them, and I wanted to get to know them better. And maybe I didn't do it exactly correct, and maybe I could have done it better. Find a time machine, and I'll be happy to go back and do it better. All I can do is continue to be my unconditional loving self, regardless if they want to talk to me or not. My unconditional love for them doesn't have to look like me twisted into a pretzel, and their love for me doesn't have to look a certain way either. They have their own lives, their own agenda. I have wasted years feeling so very hated for not being a better big sister. Even if I wasn't, why would anyone want to walk through that painful fire to be reminded that you're hated over and over again? I sure as heck didn't. So I sat back and waited for them to contact me. Now I'm the one who struggles to not feel abandoned again and again. It's okay. I now know that staying in contact with loved ones is a two-way street. It's not all my job to keep in touch. That is why I appreciate Nicole. She and I have made real headway with our perceived abandonment issues, and we stay in touch here and there. We had a good visit earlier this month. We had a miniature heart-to-heart, and she uses technology to stay in touch with me because neither of us can afford visiting in person all the time. I hope my other Utah and Arizona siblings and I can patch things up someday, but I fear their resentments might run too deep. I fear my flaws and mistakes overshadow my good traits. I fear that I didn't do enough in their younger years to let them know I care. I fear they will always see me as flawed and reject me before taking a chance to really get to know me, before writing me off. I fear that my fears will prevent me from trying any more like I see that it already has. I don't blame anyone for me not showing up better in my siblings' lives. But now that we're all adults, it's a two-way street we are all on. We can each make our choices because the road goes both ways. I hope any of my siblings will contact me so we can start this whole sibling thing again. This goes the same for any of the dozens of aunts and uncles I have, or hundreds of cousins. Family isn't family if there isn't an effort on both sides to connect. I don't blame anyone for what has happened, but the important thing is I don't blame myself anymore either. Alexa, stop. Wow, what a crappy way to let a bunch of feelings out that needed to come out. I'm sorry, Nicole, but from the very bottom of my heart, I'm sorry for not being a better big sister. You deserve to have all of your awesome siblings as a BFF, or at least an acquaintance. In any case, I do want to wish you a happy birthday, baby sister. I love you, and I hope I can get to know you, d.i.d and Saya, throughout the next coming years. I love you. Love, Crystal. So this is a very long video, and I don't want to apologize for that, because I am who I am, and I do what I do to get out what I need to get out, and it's not for you, it's for me. And based on my analytics, nobody's watching me anyway, so it's not a big deal. It's like my own private video journal that no one really peeks at all. And maybe someday somebody will, and I'm okay with that, because I am putting myself out there in hopes to find someone that will try to understand me. And that's really all I want. That's really all I want. So I get to this point in my video, or my journal, I just want to explain real quick. I wrote it with the intention of Nicole seeing it. I wrote it with the hope that Megan would see it. That's Nicole's older sister, my little sister in Utah. And James isn't on Facebook, but James is one of the biggest reasons why I wrote it. And James lives with Nicole. James is 28 years old. He's single, and he's never been married, doesn't have kids, doesn't have any aspirations, he's super depressed. He's an alcoholic. He's suicidal. So yeah, I'm feeling a lot of feels for my brother. I'm feeling so many feels that I wish there was something I could do to help him, to save him. And so my last conversation with him doesn't sit well with me. And I tried doing a Marco Polo to him. I think I'm gonna put that Marco Polo that I did right after this one. Okay. So my polo to him was very personal, in a, I got my shit and you got your shit, so let's get our shit dealt with, because attacking each other isn't going to help. But before he had a chance to see it, he deleted his Marco Polo app, and he hasn't logged back on since. So I don't know if he's ever going to see it, which is fine, because I don't expect him to cross over and help himself. He doesn't believe in self-help. He doesn't want it badly enough. And he's on his own journey. At 28 years old, I was on my own journey. Nobody could tell me what to do or think or whatnot. Nobody could warn me about what Jim was doing to my brain. You know, I made my own bed. So once you get deep enough to realize your own hurt, you can get out of your own way. But with work, you have to work at it. What I'm saying is, right before I posted that, the host of The Body, which was super nervous earlier in the beginning of this video, as you could tell, I'm pretty darn passionate about this, and I'm pretty well spoken when I speak about it. She doesn't quite understand it, I guess, because that's why she was fumbling and nervous and not sure what she wanted to say and whatnot. But basically, she didn't want this public. She didn't want Nicole to see it. She didn't want Megan to see it. She didn't want James to see it. So the only people in the family that saw it was stepsister Vanessa, who I haven't spoken to, and I think she would be okay with this because it's not really directed at her or towards her or about her, but she's kind of looped into it, and we have no relationship whatsoever. But we recently became Facebook friends, and maybe this might get a clue on my mental state of mind as being a big sister. Maybe. And the other person was some people up in Utah that I would expect to have supported my post, because they understand those siblings up there are very victimized feeling state of mind. They don't want help from any of the family, not just me. Nobody in the family can help them out of their own way. So I thought that they would support my post by saying something, or at least liking it or something. But to be honest, I doubt anybody read it because it was so very long. And that's fine. So the host deleted it, or hid it. She hid it from anybody, so not even those people can see it on the Facebook page, and we saved it to our private page. The private page where I only have my old therapist on there, and my friend Purple Linda. Purple Linda is my friend from Florida that I met online, who just feels like a very natural, supportive person in my life, who is very supportive in everything I've ever posted, and I don't really understand how she could be so awesome. She's like an angel to me, I guess. A fairy godmother. Anyways, I'm done. I'm talking to y'all later. This has been a long enough post, so stay tuned for the post after this, where I talk about my brother's struggles to him on a Marco Polo post. All right, bye. Yo, bro. So it sounds like you're struggling with some things. I'm not mad at you. I never was mad at you. I'm not disappointed in you. I'm not projecting any feelings towards you. I did not tell anybody that I was coming up. This actually was not a trip about visiting with people. I did reach out to Nicole, you, and Megan, just as a, hey, by the way, I'm coming into town. If you're able to see me, great. If you're not, that's understandable. But I didn't want to just say something at the very last minute. That's why I tried saying something a couple days before arriving. And yeah, my trip was not about family. I told April my plans way before she made plans for Grandma Eileen. And she decided to do her Grandma Eileen thing the same weekend that she knew I was coming. I wanted to do something for Dad's 60th birthday, and I didn't want anybody to know about it. I didn't even tell April exactly what I was doing. She just knew that I might be coming up for Dad's birthday. I've had a rough year. I'm not out of the woods just yet, and I'm not blaming anybody for what's wrong with me. I'm accountable for my own improvements and my own well-being and my own outlook on life. Nobody's at fault for where I'm at. But I did have an attempted suicide scare, and it's really put things in perspective, and it's really helped me see what's important in life. And sharing things on Facebook or pretending like the family's wonderful when it's not, or even memories of my father or my mother or whoever, you know, it doesn't matter. All of that doesn't matter. What matters right now is what I want to do with my day. So I seized the day and I went and hiked Mount Olympus on Dad's birthday. That was what I set out to do. So my vacation was circled around that plan. And my plan was never to visit with family. But as I arrived into town, my desire to connect with family became stronger. So that's why I attempted a couple more times to reach out to you and Nicole and Megan, and I started reaching out to people that I care about in the family. And there's some family that's not very happy with me because I didn't reach out to them at all. They had no idea that I was coming, and they're kind of upset with me. I don't care. If you show up in my life, then you show up in my life. And if you don't show up in my life, then you don't show up in my life. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it and pretend like you mean more to me than you do. And if I want to show up in your life, then I will. So I showed up in Salt Lake for myself, for my own healing. And part of my healing was to do this hike for Dad's birthday. That was for me, and my husband and my kids were with me. And yeah, I wanted to show up and say hello to people that mean a lot to me, and you are one of those people. Now, whatever you're going through it, and I've gone through my own shit, so I can't tell you how to go through yours. I actually hate it when people tell me how to go through my shit. My shit is my shit. Your shit is your shit. You can get over your shit as easily or as tough as you want to get over it. I have to get over my shit as easily or as tough as I choose to get over mine. And yeah, I can't put anybody in charge or responsible for my shit because it's mine. So yeah, if you're angry with me, or if you're disappointed that I didn't show up, or that I didn't tell you more, sorry. I didn't make this trip about you or about anybody else but me. Me and my connection to my father, your father, our father, I guess I should say. And yeah, so I'm sorry if you're going through something. I just wanted to get on here and tell you my side of it. Not like it really matters, because you seem pretty upset with me and hung up on me, but whatever. I've hung up on a lot of people too, especially the people that don't show up in my life. No matter how many times I beg them to, they don't show up. They don't show me that they care. They don't even bother to text me or call me or Marco Polo me or anything, and I really, really, really wanted them to, but whatever. I just gotta let it go. I gotta let it go. People will show up that show up, and people who don't want to won't. C'est la vie. Life goes on. You gotta make your life about you and not about what people are doing for you or not doing for you. Yeah. That's a hard one to get over, because us Pollards, we want to gather in a circle and sing Kumbaya after taking advantage of everybody in our lives. Right, Grandpa? Right, Grandpa? No, Grandpa's a good guy. He's just really backwards, I think. He's all about the dollar, the bottom dollar. He can't even hold a conversation with me without talking about money, without talking about success, without talking about possibilities of making money or something like that. And it's like, wow, Grandpa. I think Grandpa's addicted. I think Grandpa's got an addiction issue, because that's all he thinks about. He doesn't care about people's feelings or what people want to connect with. That's just Grandpa. And then you think about how Dad was. Dad wasn't a saint. Dad came from that side of the family, and Dad tried to change, and Dad tried to be better. But Dad had his flaws too. And then you get to me. I come from that line. So I've got my shit. I've got my issues. We all got our issues. No one's perfect. But we are all accountable for our own lives. I can't blame anyone for my shit. I could try. Sure, I could try. I could try to blame people for my shit, but it didn't get me anywhere. All it got me was feeling sorry for myself and leaning more towards my own addictions and my own poor coping behaviors. So I stopped. I stopped and I took accountability for my shit. So you can see I'm still struggling, but I'm doing much better than I was before. So we can talk if you want or not. That's up to you. I still want to try to show up in your life if you'll let me, but it's a two-way street. I'm going to stay in my lane, you're going to stay in your lane, and if our paths happen to cross, that's great. That'd be awesome. But I ain't going to force myself into your lane. And yeah. You can be mad at me if I'm not forcing myself on you, or forcing myself into your life, or forcing a conversation out of you, or whatever. I don't know what you're wanting from me. That's okay. I don't have to know. I don't have to understand it. You're going to go through your own journey. Everybody does. I love you, and I hope you feel better. Bye.